It is with great pleasure that we get a chance to talk with the great linebacker from the Cleveland Browns for so many years and now a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, exactly where he should be, Clay Matthews. Clay, I have to tell you, it was a pretty lousy Tuesday around Cleveland because we got the word about Kevin Stefanski and the COVID situation that hit the Browns after we had celebrated that great day of them getting into the playoffs. Your news kind of saved the day that you had made it to the final 15. So we thank you for that, and I congratulate you for that. How does that feel?
It feels great. I've as I've come to grips with this, before I became a player in the NFL, I was a fan of the NFL. My dad had played, and I grew up. I was one of those kids, who collected the little plastic helmets.
Yeah.
And actually, in high school, I was kind of underdeveloped. And so the point I'm making is I really was a fan of the NFL before I became a player in it. And I can remember one of the first things I did, my first year was 78. And I think when I got married, I made my wife go with me down to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. And, we made Tuesday was our day off, and we made a day of it. So it's like I'm a fan of the NFL, and to be talked about in this regard is just amazing and very humbling.
And I just think it's so important that people, and I know you're not a great self-promoter. I mean, you kind of let it go on the field. This is how I play. I know you are a promoter, and you're very proud of playing for the Browns and the teammates and those teams. But the fact that your longevity in the NFL is absolutely astounding. There were, 16 years in Cleveland, 3 more at the back end, 19 years in the NFL. How did you do it? I mean, that just doesn't get done anymore.
Well, I think there are 2 factors. One is I really enjoyed the game. And that, you think all the players do, but that's a tough game. You get in the first couple of years, it's all good. And then it becomes a grind after that. But for some oddball reason, I enjoyed being out there competing no matter what my assignment was, and never seemed to get tired of it. And then I was blessed with a body that could, hold up. The other thing was it might have something to do with the compensation and the in what's going on right now is that I basically needed to play all those 19 years. It was a pretty good job. I wanted to keep it.
Yeah. What was the thing about playing for the Browns in your heart that made it so important? Because, I mean, after you and your wife visited the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and now you're a Cleveland Brown, and you were such a big part of the Browns, what was that like being, a fixture on some really good and great Cleveland Browns teams?
What people ask me, what were my the best things I remember about Cleveland. And really, over the course of those 16 years, the interaction that I had with fans around Northeast Ohio was just incredible. And the folks were, they were respectful. They knew what they were talking about. And I had more conversations in more oddball places, the gas station, the bookstore, whatever, with more people. And we're talking a long time. And I cannot remember one event or meeting that is what I would call a negative. It was a great opportunity, and met those folks. And that's what I remember. I mean, in that, and then, I remember the games, I remember the interactions with my teammates, but it was all good. And I'm saying that honestly.
Yeah. And that is the one thing that I feel kind of badly for this current Browns team, because of the world situation right now in COVID, they have had to be kept away from those fans. And I keep saying, to the people, can you imagine what it would be like that finally they're 11-5 and they're in the playoffs, and how these fans would be? Because I remember those days, those I mean, you just
Yeah.
didn't even know what day. You didn't care what day of the week it was when you guys were building up to a big game because it was so much fun being around all the fans leading up to a Sunday.
It really was. I can remember the energy that would be around the playoffs. And unfortunately, I remember the Monday after, when we failed to make it to the Super Bowl, I can remember the air would just have been taken out of
Yeah.
the Cleveland area. And I remember that. It, it's just amazing, though. Watching the team this year, the big first that I noticed from the Browns
Yeah.
was that the game against the Ravens.
Right.
Um, I think there were only 5 or 10,000 people, but for the first time, I noticed the factor of the crowd again, and it was amazing to watch with so few people.
Right.
Yet you can feel it, and you need that as a player.
Yeah.
You're asked to do a lot of things. I have a big offensive lineman coming at me, over 300 pounds, and I need to go hit him to set the edge. And you really don't want to do that, but with all those people there, you take that energy and you go with it. And I noticed it in one game this year, and that was at Cleveland Ravens game. So the fans, although limited in access, have more than done their share.
I want to tell you this. I have gone to Mary Kate Cabot and I have gone to Tony Grossi and I have said, here are your marching orders. You get in that room that day or wherever that's going to happen in this crazy year, and you make a strong pitch for Clay Matthews to get in there, because now it's kind of in their hands to present you in front of that group. And they have accepted the assignment gladly because they feel that it's been a long time coming.
Again, it's uncomfortable, talking about yourself or trying to talk about yourself. It's just, gosh, I don't know. I guess when I look at it, I've got 16 years of Hall of Fame memories, with my teammates and with the people back there. And, that's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. When I got on the field, I wanted to win. I wanted to win individually with other players. I wanted my team to win. But this competitive thing about trying to get into the Hall of Fame, I'm doing okay. I'm very excited about it. You better pick it up.
Let me ask you this. That was a great night last year, the Sunday night game. You're in the Ring of Honor. Your family is they were always amazing. And now they're all grown up. I mean, I can remember your wife sitting up there in the upper deck with all the kids as you're playing in those big games. But your family was there, and I know they've been a huge part of this story. And the crowd was great, and your speech was great, and you were back home, weren't you? It wasn't. I mean, you played in a different stadium, a very historic one, but you were back on sacred ground there.
I was going to use the same term, sacred ground. I felt extremely comfortable. I don't know if I felt like I could go out and put a play in or two. That might have been too much, but I really felt comfortable with that. And it was, you talk about getting home. I felt at home.
Clay, I have to tell you, it was an honor covering you. I loved watching you play. I would love to be down in Canton and see this happen. So we're really happy for you. The best of luck.
Thank you so much. And of course, go Browns.